So, as we were looking at in the previous lecture, um, if you're going to buy a company overseas or start a company overseas, you really need to make sure that you've looked into how you're going to translate financials from that other country to the parent company. And what is going to be the relationship between the parent and the subsidiary. Now, when you're looking at budgeting, and again, remember, budgeting is simply where are you putting your money? How are you going to use your money? There are some things that are really big indicators that you should check out before you buy another company. The first is tax differentials. Which country has the lowest corporate tax rate? Because you don't want to make all this money and then it all get taxed away, and you lose all your profit to the government of the foreign country. How easy is it going to be to bring your profit from your subsidiary back to your home country? Many countries restrict the amount of money that can be either brought in or, in this case, taken out of a country. Usually has to do with the amount of hard currency that country has. And the fact that the government probably wants to monopolize as much of that hard currency for its own use as it possibly can. But again, are there restrictions on how much money you can remove from the country? Are you going to charge administrative fees, which is one way of actually getting money out of a country? A parent company could charge its subsidiary for administrative costs. And that allows the subsidiary to pay the parent company, and by paying the parent company, money tends to be allowed to leave the country if you're paying bills. So that administrative fees could just be seen as a bill to the subsidiary. But is that the way you really want to go? And I know we've talked about this numerous times already, but how are exchange rates linked between the two countries? Are they volatile? Do they tend to swing a lot? Are they more stable? Again, if you're making a good profit in the beginning of the year and you're not going to remit money until the end of the fiscal year, just to be careful, what's the likelihood that the exchange rate is going to change over time? Can you see that we're now kind of getting into the nitty-gritty of information gathering? There are lots of things that are going to influence how you make your decision, but some other things you probably want to look at would be, how much is your initial investment? What's the demand for the product you're going to be making, both in your country and in the subsidiary country? What can you sell the good for? What are your variable costs? Remember, your variable costs are your costs that change depending on your output. Labor is a variable cost. What are your fixed costs? Fixed costs are costs that once you incur them, you're stuck with them for a given period. Usually we talk about in the short run, certain things are fixed. Short run is usually anything less than a year. Lifetime of the project, salvage value, restrictions, tax laws, exchange rates, all those things. This is just a short list of some of the things you'd want to look at. These feed into what we call the net present value. Now, for those of you in accounting, you've probably done net present value already. But what we're looking at is, what is the value today of a project you're anticipating investing in? All right. So we calculate that by taking the initial investment, and you're going to subtract that out. That's why there's a negative there. And then the sum over time, and this should, by cash flow, it's cash flow taken to the power of time, how many months, how many years, divided by 1 plus the interest rate, that taken to time. And then the salvage value, where the salvage value is what's left over at the end. And that's going to give you your net present value. What's the value today of what you're getting in the future? You're subtracting out a bunch of stuff here. So what you're actually finding is like your rate of return here on this investment. Is it worth it to you to start this project? And again, something you need to calculate before you start, and get as much information as you can. Right? So as we move along and look at, again, strategic planning and budgeting, taxes seem to always come up. Let's look at tax philosophies. Let's look at how or what types of taxes you need to look at in order to understand whether a country is a good place to invest. Probably one of the biggest taxes you're going to want to look at is corporate taxes. How much is your profit going to be taxed? Again, is your profit being taxed but in the subsidiary country? And then when you repatriate it, you're going to have to pay corporate taxes on it here in the United States. So are you going to pay double corporate taxes on money you're remitting back to the parent company? That's why those administrative fees we talked about a moment ago help prevent that. You won't have to pay the taxes necessarily in the subsidiary country, but you're repatriating money, you're making profit in the United States. You can, you're going to have to pay corporate taxes here. There's also fees that the subsidiary could charge the parent if you want to flow some money into the subsidiary. That would prevent having to pay U.S. corporate taxes on it. But again, which country has the highest corporate tax? Withholdings tax. You've got carrybacks and carry forwards. Those are tax losses that can be applied. If you lose money or gain money, you can hold them against future profits or losses. There are some tax treaties between countries that allow companies to only pay taxes in one place. This is important to a certain degree to employees. I worked in Germany. Because I was an American citizen, they did not make me pay German federal tax, but I had to pay U.S. taxes. I had to submit my, pay my income taxes in the United States. So there was, and simply because there was a tax treaty between the U.S. and Germany. So do those things exist, both for the corporation and for your expatriate employees, your American employees who may be working overseas? Are there tax credits? If any of you use TurboTax, it's one of those questions that TurboTax always asks. Did you pay taxes in another country? Did you pay taxes in another state? Sometimes there are those credits that allow you not to be double taxed. So we've given you a lot of things to think about. And next week's lecture, we're going to look at country risk analysis. What do you have to know specifically about a country to determine the risk of investing there? So let's leave some of these other things until then. All right, so we'll pick up here next week. Bye-bye.